and welcome to another episode of Chef Talk. I'm your host, Brianna Williams, and on today's episode of Chef Talk, we'll be discussing the evolution of fast food by looking at current trends in the industry, as well as taking a look into the future. Joining us for today's episode, we have special guest Ms. Zandrique Harold, who is the Director of Operations for Milk and Honey. How are you doing today, Zandrique?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm great. We're so excited to have you on today. We know that you're an expert over at Milk and Honey and running operations. And so I know that you're going to provide great insight into the topic today as we're discussing fast food. And so just to give a little bit of background for those who might not know, Milk and Honey is one of Thompson Hospitality's restaurant brands serving award-winning Southern brunch in the DMV area. We'll go ahead and link more information in the description for those of you who may be in the area and want to check it out. We'd be happy to see you there. But for right now, let's go ahead and jump right into the discussion for today. So Zandrique, just to start off, we're going to talk about fast food as a whole. And so though it's been a while for quite some time, what is so appealing about fast food, or quick service that some people like to call it? What is so appealing about the fast food industry for consumers?
Right now, the appealing part is that it's convenient, and any kind of convenience provides a higher quality of life for all those involved. So whether you're coming home from work or you're on your way somewhere, you can stop and pick up a great meal that doesn't have to be everything fried. It's always a plus to have that convenience available to you. So the biggest part is convenience.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, like you mentioned, there's so many different options now. It's not, when you think fast food, you think drive-through, like a burger restaurant or something. But as we see now, there's so many different options available that, that not only is it convenient, but there's such a variety that people are definitely taking advantage of that. And so that's great. So let's go and talk about Milk and Honey specifically a little bit more. And so in what ways has Milk and Honey been able to define its brand as a quick service restaurant in the DMV area?
Sure. Originally Milk and Honey started off as all full service locations. We've taken that same model and condensed it into an express location. Currently, we have 2 express locations with a couple more coming up. And with express locations, you're able to get the same atmosphere, both coming into the restaurant and then as you leave to take your food home. So you have the slow cooked grits, you have the Cajun cream sauce, you have all the flavors of Milk and Honey, but now you have it in your home when you're comfortable, you're able to eat it however you want to eat it without necessarily eyes looking at you. But it's always great to have that inviting experience, but still have the comfort of your own home to enjoy the food in.
That's great. And that was actually going to be my follow-up, as far as what guests can expect when they come into the restaurant. Like you said, it's great that you can get the full-on restaurant experience and the comfort food that you enjoy, but enjoy it in the comfort of your own home. And so as we talk about more of the trends moving forward, I think that's one of the things that we'll start to see is people being able to want the more quality meals, but at home. And so that's something to definitely look forward to, I think. And just to move on here, let's talk a little bit more about the recent COVID-19 pandemic. And so with that, how has that changed the way in which fast food and quick service restaurants operate? And in addition to that, what are things that consumers can look for in terms of service?
Sure. The way the pandemic has changed everything is it's forced businesses to think differently in how they operate. It's not business as normal. You can't expect customers to come in and wait long periods of time for their food as if they're dining in, the way you would course it out in full service. But understand they're going to get everything at one time, and being able to mass produce that in a way that's still fresh and hot, and still is going to be fresh and hot when they take it home. So not only is the food aspect of it, but the packaging part of it is also important, because all packaging doesn't hold food well. And sourcing sustainable packaging that's still cost effective is also something that businesses have to look at. So the pandemic has definitely shown light to the areas where there's gaps in production with packaging, as well as the supply chain. Many companies right now are having opportunities with getting product in and having to find ways to alter their current recipes to adapt to the products that they are able to get in. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. And so a couple of things that you hit on there. First, as far as convenience, like we talked about earlier, one of the things I've noticed with the pandemic, especially, is that restaurants that once didn't offer, takeout or curbside pickup options are now using those, adapting to meet the needs of the customer. And so we'll see a lot of sit down or dine-in restaurants rather coming up with options for people to take their food to go, which is amazing. I mean, I probably use it a little too much, that's those services, but it's great, and like you said, with takeout and packaging, being more careful with the food, and just, of course, doing what you can to keep the customers and the guests safe and healthy. So that's great, really important. And so just moving on. So with the COVID-19 pandemic, I feel like there are a lot of different changes within the food industry that, because of the pandemic, will continue to be around for quite some time now. And so as of 2020, fast food and quick service restaurants account for over 30% of sales in the hospitality industry. So what are a few industry trends that you predict will be on the rise as we move into 2021?
I believe you'll see more diversity in the type of food you're able to get at a quick service restaurant. Whether that's Southern comfort foods to barbecue to fudge, just different things, you're going to see a lot more diversity in what you're able to get and the speed in which you're able to get it. You'll also see a lot more delivery programs coming up, I believe. Right now, the market is monopolized by Uber Eats and Grubhub, but you'll probably see a lot more companies developing some type of system to where they're not paying a third party to deliver their food, and which will also create more jobs, whether it's bicycles or cars. You'll see more diversity in that also.
Yeah, those are some great points too. And, it kind of goes back to the pandemic. That was another way that companies were adapting, was through delivery services. We see not only food delivery, but grocery deliveries. You can pretty much get anything delivered to your door.
Right. Exactly.
And so I definitely think we'll see a boost in that and continue, because again, it's all about convenience and it's all about speed. And so anyway, I think that in the industry, we can try to, enhance in those areas, that they're definitely going to do that. And so just to wrap up, I want to talk a little more about careers in the hospitality industry, especially in quick service. And so in previous Chef Talk episodes, we've shared tips for students looking to enter the hospitality industry overall. But what are some career opportunities available for students specifically in the quick service industry?
There is a ton of different opportunities for students, whether it's front of the house. For Milk and Honey, you have front of the house, whether it be a cashier, you can be in the full service locations, a server, a bartender, a busser, a food runner, an expediter. And if you go into the kitchen, you have so many stations that you can grow from. Some people come in not having any cooking experience at all, and that's okay, because we teach you everything you need to know. You learn how to clean, you learn how to prep, you learn how to cook, you learn about food safety. A lot of people think, well, I'm not a good cook, so I can't come into the hospitality industry. Well, absolutely you can, because we teach you. We're not asking you to cook from scratch as if you're in your own kitchen, but we're going to teach you what you need to know in order to excel. So that's just within the restaurant. Outside the restaurant, there's other avenues, whether it be social media, whether it be contracting, invoicing, accounts payable. So it's not only inside the restaurant, but there's all the outside things that happen, that occur in order to make the restaurant run smoothly. So those that are inside the restaurant can focus on operations, and those outside the restaurant can focus on payroll, accounts payable, ordering, contracts, maintenance, repairs, all the other stuff that nobody sees.
And that's a really great point. I think a lot of times when people look at fast food restaurants, they don't necessarily realize the amount of work or the team that's actually behind running them. And, I think that a lot of people don't necessarily consider the hospitality or food service industry as a place for a career. And that's actually where I started. I was working behind the scenes doing marketing for a fast food company. And so, you know, you see there's so many different facets to consider. And so for any of the students out there that are considering a career in the hospitality industry, there are tons of different options available. So definitely do some research, or you can visit Milk and Honey if you're in the area and see if there are any opportunities for you there as well. Just throwing that in there. But so yeah, Zandri, I just want to thank you for being on today. You offered some really great information, and we would love to have you back again for another episode. And so, yeah, for all of our viewers out there watching, this has been another episode of Chef Talk. For those of you, if you haven't already, please be sure to like and subscribe to our THTV YouTube channel to stay up to date on everything happening in our campus dining program. We'll see you on the next episode.